Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome back Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, good to see you.
Thanks for having me again.
Thank you very much for being here. So let's first start with ISIS and foreign policy. The U.S. Joint Chief of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, said recently that only the Arab and Muslim world can defeat the threat of ISIS. Your thoughts?
I think that's largely true. Obviously, and I was one of 23 who voted against going to war in Iraq, we learned that the United States is not really capable of dealing with this kind of land war. It is just too unique. I mean, there's decades and decades of history, sectarian violence. What we can do, and I have supported that, is try to assist with training. And I think also the new president in Iraq, the new leader, I think is much more inclusive, and that ought to help.
At what point would you support putting U.S. troops on the ground in the Middle East fighting ISIS?
I can't envision our putting traditional ground troops in there because we've done that. We had thousands and thousands in Iraq, and because of the history, because of these unique challenges, it doesn't lend itself to that kind of American involvement. I think we can help with air power. I think we can help with our special forces. We're in effect going to have this what amounts to 3-month effort to try to assist with training, help with indigenous forces, but I can't envision a kind of traditional American involvement with thousands of ground troops there again.
I'm going to go off the cuff with this question. You know, as a representative of our country, as a leader for our entire nation, of course, the state of Oregon, what goes through your mind when you see beheadings of U.S. citizens overseas in something as horrible as this?
I think it would have sent a horrible message to have done nothing. If you see your fellow citizens who've done absolutely nothing wrong, beheaded by terrorists, beheaded by thugs, I think you have to find a way to signal that that's not going to be acceptable.
Very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We have much more to talk about here at home. We'll do that after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, the House passed for the second time a bipartisan timber bill authored by Congressman DeFazio and Congressman Wyden, among others. Where do we stand with your bill and their bill, and can we find some compromise?
We can, and I'm encouraged that we can get it done after the election, and particularly put people back to work in the woods in southern Oregon. We have gotten the commitments in the Senate for marking up our bill, the bill that I have written. This, in effect, ensures that we can expedite it. And then the challenge is going to be for the Oregon congressional delegation to put it on one of the end-of-the-year must-pass bills. This lame duck session will wrap up in December. I have no higher priority than getting this passed and getting Oregonians back to work in the woods.
Okay. You today toured the Onion Mountain Fire in Josephine County. Where do we stand with federal assistance for everything that's happening out west?
They have handled it very well, obviously, at Onion Mountain, but we're going to have many more fires like this. You have the combination, it's very hot, it's very dry, then you have a lightning strike, and all of a sudden you have an inferno. My other hope for the lame duck session is to pass the bipartisan bill I have with Senator Mike Crapo to stop this fire borrowing. What happens is when you have a big fire, the bureaucracy borrows from the prevention fund to fight the fire, and then you have more problems because the prevention fund is still short. Senator Crapo and I would like on a bipartisan basis to let the biggest fires, you would fund them from the disaster fund. They're really disasters, and ensure that you had all that money for prevention, for thinning, for getting that dead material out, because that's the key to preventing these fires in the future.
On a personal note, what are you proud of that you've done this week, and what are you disappointed by this week?
Well, in terms of the Senate, I'm very proud of our child welfare bill, which finally passed, which is really going to promote adoptions. It's something that we should have done a long, long time ago. We know in our state that there's great debate with respect to abortion, a woman's right to choose. What we all ought to rally behind is expanding adoptions, and with the bipartisan legislation that we got through the Senate a few days ago, that's going to be possible.
Okay, and disappointment?
My disappointment probably would be that still over the last couple of weeks we saw an awful lot of what I call excessive partisanship. What we understand is for the big challenges of our time, taxes and holding down medical costs, you've got to find common ground. And however this election ends up. And I believe we Democrats are going to stay in the majority. Republicans will see it otherwise. Neither side is going to have enough votes to tell the other side what to do. We're going to need more bipartisanship, and certainly those couple of weeks in September indicates that we've got a lot of work to do to achieve that.
It's going to be an interesting time. Senator, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.